labor, not those who be seeking jobs in the bank and jobs in government, and if they don't get it, they'll be redundant. We want somebody who's going to look at these policies and say they have to continue. I remember I was on the podium in 2012 when the leader, the national leader of the then ACN, came to this state and said, do you know what? These shuttle buses that you brought into the state, it's before your time in Ondo State. If we come into power, what we're going to do is to use those buses to run a transit between Lagos and Akure. Now, that does two things. It puts our local bus operators out of a job. It does them out of their own income. And again, it also says that we're not self-sustaining within the state. Those are the policies of the elite. Those are the policies of the well-off-to-do. Where do you provide for the impoverished people? And that is being the mantra of the last 7.5 years of this government. And we're looking for an aspirant that's going to say, look, people-oriented projects that closes the gap between the extremely rich and the poor in society will be furthered. And that's why we, in our own club, we have that kind of agreement, that this is the kind of person that we're looking for. And whether it comes from Idori, or from Ifedore, I'm just saying, or from LBG, to us it doesn't matter, because we know that in 4 years' time we'll be smiling again that we chose the right man for the job.
Okay, Mr. Akintayo, those preaching the gospel of zoning feels the endorsement of a candidate by Mr. Governor implies imposition. What's your reaction to that still?
Well, the fact that there's a preacher for zoning means somebody is biased already. But I will tell you, if one leads an organization, a state, local government or otherwise, and the person is to leave office, the first thing that will done on that individual is how can this good governance continue? What will be the future of all the legacies he is leaving behind? What will be the next line of action in another 2-3 years? What will have happened to all he or she has done?
Obama and Clinton.
Of a fact, the reality is anybody who wants to leave office must look beyond himself, must look into the future and say, who can do this job? If we have to face our party as a focal point, I want to say the people who are contesting to be governor are good candidates, all true. They are good candidates, they are people who have reputation, but along the line, 3 people cannot stand in twos. There just must be some arrangement that will make an individual ahead of others. We have looked and we have looked and we have looked. And talking of the fact that the insinuation says Mr. Governor has chosen a candidate that looks to them as impostor. It is not. Amongst every one of them, they themselves know that some certain criteria must be taken before these choices are made, or any choice is made. I have assumed that we are saying the reality on radio now, and people should please listen and listen good. Mr. Governor is just conscious of the fact that tomorrow must be well taken care of. There must be a continuum of good governance. There must be reasons for all Garo has mentioned to continue. The situation in health, the situation in education, the situation in agri, the situation in roads and rural development, the situation that as it concerns transport, the situation as it concerns security, sanitation, and even sport. Issues that concern commerce. These things, how must it continue? There must be a continuum. There must be an improvement along the line too. Because like Mr. Governor will always say, we have done quite a whole lot, but there is a whole lot yet undone. Who will do those things that is yet undone? So he has analyzed all the candidates. They have worked for him. They have worked together for quite some time, and he has laid the criteria straight before every one of us. Who do we think And again, Mr. Governor did not single-handedly choose anybody. He has consulted far and wide, and even consultation is still on. So the fact that insinuations are saying somebody has been chosen and somebody has been anointed may not even be perfectly true. Up till yesterday, consultations are on. Up till this morning, before we came, there were moves here, there, and yonder that we can't but get it right. We can't but get it right in the interest of the people. Not, if you look at even in USA, the United States of America, when Clinton came on board, it was like, what will happen, what will happen? Once she got the final signal, Obama was involved in making sure that the woman continues. The guy, from day one, picked Clinton, Obama. So he wanted continuity of good governance. It's not limited to us alone. You don't do a good job and leave it, just follow, and leave it for anybody to rubbish. You look at who can do it better than you have done, or who will keep the stream rolling. So the fact that somebody is saying zoning and now saying Mr. Governor has anointed somebody is best left to the imagination of people. If you were in his position, what will you do? Will you leave all these goodies? Will you leave all this infrastructure? Will you leave all these projects in the hands of anybody who will just throw it away? Or will you leave it in the hands of somebody who will continue in your own stead? We want somebody who has credibility. We want somebody who has competence, who has some integrity, who is humble. We want somebody that knows what to do. We want somebody that has a track record of success. We want somebody who can take decision and who has been taking decision in court again among the system. So somebody who is credible by all, who we will say is able to, and I think the governor has looked well. He's looked well, and without wanting to be biased again, I want to say I confirm that the man is still consulting.
Okay. We'll get to talk more about that as the day rolls by. But Mr. Garo, in just about 2 minutes, I want us to take a look at the latest appointments made by Mr. President, forced into the NCC and some educational agencies this past 2 days. Do you think the southwestern part of the country has been duly compensated with this?
The South may have an appointment, but whether you can call that compensation is debatable. We have a president who has the prerogative to appoint across the length and breadth of the country into various positions. We have a constitution that is a guide for him. Bear in mind, federal character says that you have to involve all segments, all areas of the country in the distribution of offices. But what we have is a decision maker who is at best parochial, at best sectional, and at worst has got it wrong yet again.
Those are your thoughts.
Those are my thoughts. And those are the thoughts of, and echoing thoughts of many Nigerians across the length and breadth of the country. It's unprecedented in the history of Nigeria since 1999 appointments that you're going to have this kind of sectionalism across the length and breadth of the country. It's not just the Southwest that has been shortchanged. The Southeast, the South, and indeed the Middle Belt. The president has a motive. He has a motive that he's carrying out. He has an agenda that's been set by his inner kitchen cabinet. But if you take one or two examples, and I'll come to the one that you've raised, it was no coincidence that he replaced Ibe Kachuku, Minister of State on Petroleum, and the Managing Director of NNPC. It's no coincidence that he was replaced by a Northerner. It's no coincidence that the youth have gained some recognition by a near 40-year-old being compensated with the position of chairman of MPA, Hadiza Bala Usman. The youth can celebrate, but the question is, a mighty corporation authority like the NPA in the hands of what we will call an inexperienced Northerner, quote unquote, raises questions. But when you come to the Southwest, where he has made some appointments and some of them need ratification, what we have is controversy. You have Tokunbo Ajashin being appointed in Ondo State to where? To the NDDC. Against the grain of what has obtained in the past, it's an appointment for the NDDC, which is traditionally, conventionally, the appointment that goes to the riverine oil-producing area of this state. We say, and we make bold to say, that it was done to create confusion.
But constitutionally, do you think that appointment is wrong?
I'm a lawyer, and I need an hour to dissect that for you.
You don't have
So
an hour.
let me not go into the legal and constitutional. But it says a state will be entitled to. It then says within that state, an area will be entitled to. So you don't need to be a rocket scientist or carpenter or a lawyer or a layman to know that state and area are not synonymous in that definition. The state was defined, area was mentioned. So we know that it goes to a particular area in a particular state. So for you to deliberately take it out of the area, you have a motive of creating confusion amongst the welfaring and the civil living people of the state. And then you now go to Ogun State. I think it's from Ogun State. Senator Olabi Durojaye, who has recently been appointed to the NCC. Now, I haven't got a problem with experience. I haven't got a problem with age. I'm not an ageist. I haven't got a problem with that. But if you say that the chairman of a very important institution is going to be an 83-year-old, then he raises questions about whether or not we have got it right in this country. Can't that man be an advisor to the chairman? Bring his experience to bear? You need agility. But an 83-year-old agile man to be the chairman of that board, it raises questions. And it had to happen again in the Southwest. So we raise questions and big questions about whether or not there isn't a deliberate attempt to just turn this institution that we call Nigeria upside down, create as much chaos or pockets of chaos in all the different regions. Notice that the Southwest do not have any insurgency. We don't have Boko Haram, we don't have Biafra agitation, we don't have Niger Delta. So those peaceful people in the Southwest, let's create problems with them with appointments.
Don't think in that direction.
Let me chip in a little bit. We have to come down
Just 30 seconds.
Yes, we have to come down on what has Ondo State benefited in terms of appointment. What have we benefited? We remember vividly that they cajoled us with a whole lot of this change mantra during the election that made Ondo State erroneously go in the direction of Buhari. And now today, the people are complaining. What have we gotten as a state?
Nothing.
They gave us a minister. The people in the opposition party know that this minister is more like the essay to another minister. They gave us another funny appointment somewhere, claiming is a board member. We wonder, don't we deserve more than what they are doing to us? We can't count more than 2-3 appointments in the last 18 months. What has Ondo State done for the federal government that they think they should be sidelined? The people erroneously voted for them, and here they are getting nothing for it. I think something must be done with this calculation.
Well, with that, we conclude the show this week. To return next week by the special grace of the Almighty. It's been setting the record straight. And this past 50 minutes or thereabouts, I played the host to Mr. Inka Salada Kinterewa and Mr. Gbenga Akimoyo, both special assistants to the Ondo State Governor. My name is Adeolu Boyega. We're back again next week with another edition of the show. Have a lovely day.
Turn on your radio.